Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Christine from Skin Regimen Comfort Zone. We're just going to wait just a few, no, not even a few minutes, maybe about 30 seconds to a minute for everyone to hop on, give them a little bit of time. So please use this time to get yourself comfortable. Find a good cozy seat to sit in front of the screen. And also, if you don't mind, please press mute on your mic for now, and we're going to have lots of Q&A time a little bit towards the end of the presentation. So see you in just about a minute. Okay, let's get started. Thank you, first of all, for joining us for Carillon Conversations, which happens every Thursday at 4 o'clock. As I said earlier, I'm Christine. I'm from Skin Regimen Comfort Zone. I'm the education manager here, and we are part of the Davines Group, which is an international beauty brand and a certified B Corp. Welcome to this presentation, which is part of the Health Aging series. And information related to aging and skincare is very vast and sometimes contradictory. And I know it can be very difficult to find definitive answers on what is healthy and what's effective. When it comes to on-trend ingredients, you'll often find that they're the holy grail or they're extremely dangerous. So it's so hard to sift through all of that. So for us, if we look to a guide, we're really looking more for the health of the mind and body, because the skin is really inextricably linked to that overall health. So that's really a focus for us as well as Carillon. So today we're going to take a look at that deeper knowledge with the goal to take a simpler approach, to focus on what we can control and to look at everyday solutions we may have at home. So let's take a look here. So fast living, slow aging. This is one of our taglines, and it's really meant to highlight the pace of modern life. And even with, the various lockdowns we've been through, making us a bit more stationary in our homes, that still hasn't really translated for a lot of us as, a simpler time. We have still a lot of worry and anxiety, and the constant informational input that we have can create this never-ending stress cycle. So within this new normal and modern life in general, how can we slow aging? So let's take a look at what is lifestyle aging. So what you see here in the center of this diagram are all the things that really, whether it's too much of it or too little of it, can accelerate the aging process as well as create disease. Some of them, such as pollution, can have global implications. Now, all of these things are pretty have been pretty much confirmed by science as having a detriment to our health, and each one contributes to at least one of these biological processes that you see around that circle. So inflammation, oxidation, DNA methylation, and glycation. So these are all things that we know happen to the body and conversely on our skin when we start to incorporate more of that into our lives. So let's take a look at each one of them a little bit closer. DNA methylation. This might not be something you've really ever heard of before. Even in skincare circles, this is sort of a newer way to look at things, but it's really our biological mechanism for longevity. we need this activity to protect our cellular functions as well as our genetic expression. So this is really important for us. And of course, as we age, this activity starts to slow down, as does an unhealthy lifestyle. So really everything that we do that is considered not in our best interest can have an impact on our DNA. So that's a really important thing to note. Glycation. This is maybe something you've heard of before, but this is the chemical reaction that happens in our body when we have too much sugar. When we have a high refined sugar diet, it creates a reaction with proteins. Proteins are an essential part of our body, which include our skin as well as organs like our heart. So when this activity is increased, obviously that can be detrimental to our health, but it's very, very detrimental to our skin. One of the best ways to counteract a high sugar diet is to make sure that we're incorporating lots of leafy greens into our diet, which is really, really healthy for so many different reasons, but has a great impact on glycation. Now, pollution. This is one that really impacts the whole world because our air quality, which includes sometimes solid particles, dangerous gases, other natural byproducts, I think what's going on in the West Coast right now, they can form toxic substances that will negatively affect our health and our skin. Now, surprisingly, here in New York, where I live, and southern Florida as well, our air quality is actually quite good. And what's interesting about air quality generally in the US is that we are 2 to 5 times more polluted inside our home than we are by our outside air. So that's something that we actually have a lot of control over. So let's take a look at what pollution we're talking about here. So we have a diagram here for reference. So for that long piece that you see there is a human hair, roughly about 50 to 70 microns in diameter. And I think maybe more appropriate for Southern Florida, there's also a fine grain of sand there as reference. But as you can see, materials like dust and pollen, so these are also things that aggravate our health. That's quite a much larger size, PM10. That's generally the size that those materials fall into. And can still create an irritation for us as well as some health issues. But one of the most important and what is of concern to the global health community is PM 2.5. So you can see that in relation to PM 10. It's tiny, and it is what is made up of combustion particles. Think your car exhaust, chemical reactions that are being released often in our own homes. These are actual particulate matter that enter our bodies and create a whole host of issues. So here we take a look at a typical American home. So, not only, do we worry about outdoor air pollution, but what's going on inside? Mold and bacteria. We know that's going to be more of that PM10 size. But things like combustion from our fireplaces or exhaust that comes from our cars and our attached garages, chemicals that we use to clean with, even things like cooking. If we're frying and cooking lots of meats, often they produce a chemical reaction in the air that is quite dangerous for us over time. Animal hair, dander, and then the house itself can sometimes be an issue, and the furniture we have. The building materials are often releasing chemicals into the atmosphere that we breathe. And then when you think about how homebound a lot of us have been over the last few months, this is a constant interaction. So, I know this sounds a little bit grave, making our home sound like it's a dangerous place, but there are such easy things we can do to remedy this. Swapping out our more toxic house cleaners for something greener and chemical free, making sure we dust regularly, making sure that our materials that we're painting with, furniture that we're bringing into our homes have a reduced amount of chemicals. All those things can make a great difference. The other issue with pollution, especially when we're talking about particulate matter as well as ground level ozone. This is for people who might live in more smog heavy environments, or you live by a major road. Often you're interacting with ground level ozone. So that in conjunction with particulate matter can raise your stress hormones as well as your blood sugar. So that, taken all in with our diet and our lack of sleep, lack of exercise, things like that, can create a pretty unhealthy link between the air, our stress level, and metabolism. And all that shows up in our body and our skin as inflammation and oxidative damage. So stress, again, that's something that's been universal for a lot of us. It's chronic and it shows up in the skin in many different ways. Sometimes it can just be literally heat in the skin. Inflammation that's subclinical, so meaning, you might be reactive to things that you're not typically. Often it's dehydration. You'll notice the skin will start to become more dull because our cellular turnover is being reduced. Impaired skin barrier. So the ability for your skin to defend yourself starts to become compromised. And of course, for some of us, more oil production, which can lead to stress-related acne. So it's multiple different actions that are going on in the body, but ultimately our skin is often the first ones to tell us of chronic stress that we're working with. So all that really, for us to really make it simple, is that stress and pollution can make the skin dry, inflamed, impure, and accelerate the aging process. So here we see kind of an umbrella of a lot of different skin conditions that we might all be experiencing right now or more on a consistent basis. So with all that said, how do we work on this? How do we solve this issue? Well, first, we have a lot of expertise behind us. So we are really fortunate to have Dr. Claudia, who is a neuroscientist as well as a skin expert, Dr. Andrea Scoifo, who's also a neuroscientist who focus specifically on the way stress creates disease in the body. So they help us. They help us to understand how these mind-body issues show up in the skin, and that helps to inform our formulations. So one great thing is that often with this activity going on in the skin directly, there's actually great ingredients or plant-based solutions for our skin. So here are just a few examples that you'll find in our skin regimen collection. Wild indigo, which is a powerful anti-inflammatory. Maki berry that you see here, this has I think 4 times more antioxidant activity than blueberries. And spinach, which does 2 things. It helps reduce glycation. We talked about that earlier with the leafy greens, but with its high folate content, it helps to protect that cellular functioning, our DNA expression. It helps protect us from having the external stressors change our biological functions. Lastly, we've got a peptide called carnosine in the formula, and that helps to reduce that chemical reaction that happens with this high sugar diet. So there are things that we can use on the skin that create a formula that actually meets the needs of all 4 of those biological processes. But beyond that, what are other things we can do? Firstly, we can use plants to clean the air inside our home. This is one of my favorite solutions because I love plants, and looking at and seeing green in your home is so uplifting anyway and such a stress relief. But beyond that, they're powerful air purifiers. So there was a NASA study conducted in the 1980s, actually, where they tried to find plants that can purify the air and clean the air and provide oxygen in a closed and sealed environment. And what they found were these collection of plants were the best. they were not only powerful for removing carbon dioxide and producing oxygen, they help to humidify and create a more friendly atmosphere for our body and our skin. The other thing that it does is it actually absorbs toxic pollutants in our homes, some better than others. What you see here, they're actually the best at removing common pollutants such as benzene and formaldehyde and toluene. So these are ingredients that are often found as byproducts of petrochemicals, or found in building materials, paint thinners, permanent markers, things like that. So things that you think of as being everyday things that are generally benign, but taken all together, they might actually contribute to a negative impact in the air. We also can focus on aroma. So there are essential oils that are excellent at reducing inflammation on the skin, helping the skin with its anti-aging processes, but they also ultimately reduce stress. So these particular aromas that you'll find in Skin Regimen have been chosen for its effect on the skin, as well as its grounding and calming effect. These were all tested to make sure that they reduce cortisol, but really any aroma that you love plus deep breathing can immediately reduce raising cortisol levels. So you start to feel yourself getting overwhelmed with stress, taking a time out, taking some really deep breaths, and coupled with an aroma that you love is one of the easiest and best everyday tool you have. So just doing that, 3 breaths, 5 breaths, that's all it takes to really knock that cortisol level back down to something a little bit more manageable. Now, when you couple that great aroma, whatever it is that you love, with great self-massage, now you have a powerhouse formula. So we clinically tested that, and we found that after 28 days of doing self-massage with an aromatic cream every night for 28 days, in the words of Dr. Scoifo, who conducted this test for us, he basically said hormones, cortisol, was extinguished after 28 days. So it can be that powerful if you can do it consciously and every day. Now, you've probably seen tools. This is an Instagram favorite. A lot of different skincare brands have been incorporating tools. And one of the reasons why they're so great is that they're simple, they're clean, and they deliver skincare results. So some of them have been used for centuries on the skin, especially something like gua sha, which is a skin scraping technique that's designed to boost inflammation and resiliency and blood circulation to the body. So techniques like that have been available for quite a long time, but certainly jade rollers, using minerals from these materials, as well as the cooling and soothing effect of the massage, can really deliver almost like facial level results at home. So our tool that we have, hopefully some of you have this with you right now to use. We chose the material called Beyond Stones. And Beyond Stones were created actually during the Cretaceous period, when there was a lot of meteorite and chemical changes and alterations going on the planet. So they contain a tremendous amount of trace elements and that are very beneficial and impactful for our health. And like I said, this type of stone has been used in traditional Chinese medicine for centuries. When you actually apply this stone on the skin, it works to improve blood circulation, promote oxygenation, again, making your systems work a little bit better, and of course, move lymph. One of the things that stress does, stress takes away your nutrients and oxygen, hydration from the skin and diverts it to other places. And there's a knock-on effect to that. So as your body goes into more of a fight or flight mode, it's corralling its resources to the internal organs, slowing down everything else, including your removal of waste products and the lack of blood circulation. And that really shows very immediately in the skin. So knowing all that, one of the best tools we have is to try and work against that. So boosting blood circulation, moving lymph will have a really, really immediate result for the skin. So this technique that we'll do together today, this is actually created by our master trainer in Parma, Italy, where we're based, Antonella Latilla. And she really loves the gua sha because of its impact on all those body systems that we mentioned: skin, muscles, blood, lymphatic system, promoting vitality and the health of the face, neck, and décolleté. And it's an ancient technique that hopefully is in the reach of all of us, whether you have the tool like this or you have a pretty good approximation, which is a large spoon. We can get great activity with just something like that. So we're really excited to share this little technique with you. So the main takeaways here that I want to make sure that we stress is that there are a lot of things that we can do at home to help us become healthier and take control of some of those things that accelerate our aging process. Making sure that we take time out to manage our stress, making sure our home environment is serene and clean, being aware of where your body is. So if you feel yourself getting really stressed or finding anxiety very, very prominent, take a few moments, take your favorite aroma, take a few deep breaths, and take that in, and that will have in itself a huge impact on the body. So with that, let's talk a little bit about our facial technique. So I'm going to show you a quick little video tutorial of the gua sha and how we're going to be using it today. So this is something that you can find on our website as well as Instagram. Carillon will have this available to you as well. But this is a really quick and easy way for us to incorporate the tool into our skincare routine. Perfect. I hope that looked easy and serene for you all. So we'll take this moment now. You are welcome to unmute yourself as well. We'll do a little facial technique together so I can coach you through the whole process. Some of you might have come here with a cleanser, so we'll do a quick little cleanse. And I'll show you how something as lowly as a little washcloth can actually boost the home facial results. So I'm happy for you all to, if you want to be on video so we can all, see each other, you're also welcome to turn on your mics as well. So for those of you guys that will be participating in the gua sha technique for the face, a couple things we can do right now. I'm just going to tie my hair back so that it's not getting in the way. We'll want a bowl of water as well as your cleanser and whatever tool you brought. So we suggested the gua sha tool. If you didn't have that, like I said before, a simple spoon can actually deliver very, very similar results. So we'll use either of these. I have, because my cleanser, which is the Skin Regimen Cleansing Cream, I have the professional size of it. This requires a little bit of water to move it, so I have a bowl of water. And to remove, I have a warm washcloth. So I just want to make sure everybody's got that right in front of us, just to make sure that we're all doing this all together. Does anyone have any questions about the facial technique now before we begin? Perfect. I'm actually going to clip my hair back really quick so I don't have lots of flyaway hairs going on. And let's get started. So what you want to do is grab, does anyone, I would love it if you guys would turn on your videos so we can all do this together. And I think, and maybe Roxana, correct me if I'm incorrect here, but if you click on my image, does my image go bigger if you need to see me a little bit better?
No, it actually doesn't.
Okay, perfect. Hi, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us. So if you're using specifically the Skin Regimen Cleansing Cream, you just need a tiny amount, the size of a pea or less. It's very concentrated. If you have a cream cleanser, you may not need any sort of water access at all. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water here and create a nice foam to open up that cleansing action. And I'm just going to do a quick cleanse. So again, I try to concentrate my movements on moving from midline and out, because that's going to help with that lymphatic flow, right? I'm just going to apply my cleanser here, working from my chin, working out, circular movements, working around the corners of the nose to really get some of that congestion and excess oil that we might have. Smoothing out below the eyes, and then circular movements on the forehead. Now, in terms of talking about everyday tools, I'm sure we all have these, and they're actually really well loved in spa circles. We love using towels because of the fact that they can not only remove product, but it creates more of an exfoliating effect on the skin. So having something like a washcloth is excellent for softening your pores, removing dirt and debris very thoroughly, and removing excess skin cells. The other benefit of this, if you guys have been like me at home, you can wash your face and do your facial routine in front of the TV this way. So working from midline out, again, helping that lymph fluid, right? Using your washcloth to really provide that deep spa level clean. Hopefully you'll see your washcloth in a different light. Perfect. So hopefully you feel really fresh and clean now that that's all removed. You got a little bit of extra exfoliation going on in there. We moved lymph around as well. Now, for some of you who have really dehydrated skin, you might want to use a tiny little bit of moisture, maybe a light moisturizing cream, maybe even something like a skin oil, but just a few drops as we work the gua sha. You'll feel it. If it's starting to drag a lot, that's telling you your skin's quite dehydrated, and you can add a little bit of oil there, okay? I already know my skin's dehydrated, so I'm actually going to apply 2 drops of oil. On the skin, slightly apply it. Now, our tool. So whether you're using a spoon or your Beyond Stone Gua Sha, we'll use this at a 45-degree angle with the stone to help move blood and lymph in a really effective way. So our first movement is going to be to release the tension in the muscle. So I'm actually using my stone, if you guys can see me, and gliding up the side of the neck. Oh, perfect. You've got excellent tools. Oh my gosh. That you can vary it up. Can you say that again?
I'm well equipped.
Yes, you are. Fantastic. I mean, I'm sort of well equipped if I have a spoon too, right? Okay, so we're releasing all that tension in the muscles. Tension here is going to translate into tension in the face. That reduces the necessary blood circulation that we need to keep our skin looking youthful. So we will repeat this on the other side. So let's work on those tense shoulder muscles. We're all walking around with it, right? The next movement is taking our muscle that attaches from behind the ear down to the chest, like right at the start of the clavicle. There's a really strong muscle there that we want to glide down. Okay. We're gliding down, bringing that lymph fluid to all of those lymph nodes that are here. So gliding downward. Perfect. We'll repeat on the other side. Again, this will make your neck and décolleté area feel really, really relaxed. Okay. Our next movement will be to take, one thing I want to back up a little bit. So if you are using a spoon, you might want to do the gliding movement both on the back side as well as the front side of the muscle. So you're covering this entire muscle area. That's going to have a deeper impact as well. So you're gliding along the back of the side of the neck and on the front of the side of the neck. Okay. I said a spoon actually feels excellent in that regard.
That's right.
Perfect. So now we'll start working the lymphatic fluid on the face. So we'll start by using our pressure. Your tool is at a 45-degree angle, angling towards the inside of your face, if that makes sense. Yeah, we're gliding up the cheek. This will give you a little bit more of that lifting action as well as moving the fluid. If you find this painful, if you find that that's too much pressure, you can always raise your tool at more of a 90-degree angle, and that'll glide a little bit softer. Does that make sense? So we're gliding upward. Okay, excellent. So for your spoon, yeah, that's perfect. The spoon users, you can use where the spoon is curved. Those edges are going to be your skin scraping apparatus. Okay. Next thing we'll do is go from the corner of the mouth up the middle ear. We'll lift that up. Repeat on the other side. And then now for carving around the cheekbone, we can actually take our stone and work our way from the corner of the nose around the cheekbone, going up to the temple. So curve around the cheekbone, going up. You'll really feel your skin plumping at this stage. Repeat on the other side. Carving up. Now, we can also use, for those of you with this stone, we can use the corner here to glide over the eyes, or underneath the eyes, sorry. The spoon users, this is actually perfect because it's sort of becomes smaller and more pointed here. So you can actually use that to glide really easily under the eyes. Spend a little bit of time here if you have puffy eyes like I do, right? So gliding across like that. And then lastly, repeat on the other side. Okay, now this area, of course, it's going to support in lymph removal, but there's also a lot of tension here because of all of our stress in our lives, right? So this is going to help with releasing muscle. So we'll take, again, that curved tip, again, however you find it comfortable with your spoon or with your tool. We're just going to glide over the eyebrows, getting that furrow out of there, and then repeating on the other side. 3 times a piece is usually good, but again, we're sitting in on our sofas watching Netflix. You can make this a little bit longer, you know? Make it an anti-aging session while you're taking in whatever you're watching, right? And then last but not least, we're going to flow over the entire forehead. Because again, this area contains so much muscle tension here. So however comfortable that feels. And you should feel some warmth. Hopefully it's uncomfortable, but you should feel quite a lot of circulation activity going on in your skin. Okay. Perfect. So that is really simply it. And if you forget all of these techniques, don't feel like looking up these videos. Your main guidance is working down in the middle section of the neck, and then working from midline all the way out across the face. This is the way lymph flows, and this will help make your skin look so much less puffy. That is immediate. That's all you really need to think about is down on the neck, midline, and out on the face. Okay? So that is a really, really simple technique. Like I said, you don't necessarily have to have a tool like this. A simple spoon or a butter knife will do. But the idea is that we're using something very precise and focused to target circulation, muscle work, as well as lymph. And that has a tremendous impact on our skin. I'm going to follow up with a moisturizer, a moisturizing cream. You guys can do the same. And I tend to do this routine at night because, again, that helps me with my wind down. I am focusing on these movements on my face and less so about stress and all the other worries that you might have. So I hope you all found this helpful, and I hope your skin looks and feels great. And I'm happy to take any questions you might have or any comments that you might have.
So Christine, we have one question from Natty. Can it help with hyperpigmentation?
I think anything that's going to help with inflammation and helping you to feel more calm, because one of the drivers of hyperpigmentation is inflammation and stress. So anything that we do is going to help impact that in a positive direction. I wouldn't say that this tool will remove hyperpigmentation, in and of itself. But like I said, anything that impacts our stress level, inflammation, oxidation on the skin is going to help improve hyperpigmentation because it needs that in order to develop.
I wanted to say first, Christine, thank you so much for very informative, for all this information, very useful. And I wanted to say hi to Kendra. Very nice to see you here. Everyone. And my question is, will it help, this technique, will it help with the frown lines?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's excellent for that because, it's working several different aspects, the blood circulation, the toning, but again, stress management, giving us something else to feel and do. Anything that manages stress is helpful. But absolutely, one of the goals of these, the gua sha, is to help, develop thicker, more resilient skin. So that's going to help with plumping as well as general lift to the skin.
Do you recommend something particular, like after this technique? I have hydro memory.
Yep, hydro memory is excellent. Yeah, it's a double hydration approach. It is lightweight, but it immensely hydrates the skin. I mean, at my age, I'm in my mid-40s. I need peptides in all kinds of ways all the time. So I tend to use the Skin Regimen Tripeptide Cream because it has pretty powerful peptide in it. Again, you're probably younger than I am and maybe not as
Sublime
worried.
skin. Will this work?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sure.
Sublime.
I have the
Excellent.
whole collection here. I'm prepared.
Yeah, no, excellent. So any moisturizer like that will do. Anything that rehydrates. I mean, we talked about how stress immediately impacts dehydration. So if you're able to offset that, you're setting your skin in a really good direction.
Yeah, exactly. And one more question. We were talking actually with Kendra like a while ago. Did Comfort Zone come up with a solution for sun damage and like maybe like adding SPF to the product?
Yeah, SPF. We will have an SPF soon. There are some FDA sort of slight obstacles in the way, but we're working through them. And like one of them is that the FDA likes U.S. manufacturing, so we're trying to work on that so that we can produce it here. So we should have something like an SPF 30. We hope next year. But again, we're not absolutely sure. And the first part of your question, I've already forgotten it. What did you say again?
It's like maybe some natural remedies that for
Yeah,
the skin
sun
to
damage.
prevent and like heal after the sun, because we're all in Miami, so.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we have a really, really great new product with some great innovations. It's called the Sublime Skin Corrector. And it has 3 different ingredients that sort of mirror the dermatologist's formula for treating hyperpigmentation. So it reduces inflammation, reduces that coloring activity in the skin, exfoliates. And the other beauty is it's non-toxic and it's even for pregnant women to use. So there are very few pregnancy safe hyperpigmentation products out there, and this is one of them. So we have some great clinical testing behind it. So I would recommend that.
All right. Thank you so much for your answers.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? I'm sorry we've gone a little overboard, a little longer.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes,
do you hear me? I don't know if I...
Yes.
Is it better to use a cream or to use an oil after using the washer? The washer. I don't know how to say.
Gua sha, yeah. And then in some cases, it's sometimes pronounced gua sa. So you hear it both ways, gua sa, gua sha. It's, it really depends. It depends on what works for you and what your preference is. Oil is great because it's really nourishing, but often if you have dehydration going on with your skin, it's often, it can be better to use a cream that has more water boosting ingredients in it as well. So that would be maybe a deciding factor. If you're not too dehydrated and you want some of those vitamins and nourishment, maybe the oil is great, but if you're really water parched, a cream is sometimes better at putting that back in.
Okay, and the products that you were talking before, sorry, they are the Comfort Zone products, right? The one that you partner with. Okay.
Exactly. Skin regimen is part of Comfort Zone. So yeah, the collection itself is really all about lifestyle aging and trying to manage those processes that are going on when we're a little bit less healthy, a little bit more stressed. And so the whole collection is really focused on that. So we thought it was a good match for health aging.
Okay, so they are selling these products Carillon at the hotel?
Carillon is. Okay. Oh, and I also wanted to say, again, thank you all for joining us. We also do have a winner. We have a winner who was...
Sorry, Christine, if we have one more question, if you wouldn't mind answering before we jump into that. So another question, actually 2 questions from Natty. What do you think about clean beauty? And the second question is skincare without preservatives and chemical ingredients.
Yes. Well, I think, again, clean can often be products that have chemicals in it. It can be, a product that has a synthetic peptide or a hyaluronic acid or something like that. But the ingredients that are in the product are deemed safe. So we really like that approach. We are generally a clean brand, and we find that there's really a role to play for synthetically created ingredients like those that I just mentioned. So I think clean beauty is a really good movement, and it's really part of. It came out of the US because we tend to have a skincare market that doesn't have a whole lot of regulation, right? So there are a lot of questionable ingredients out there that, we need a little bit more guidance on what's safe and what's not. So, generally we as a brand, we like using plant-based ingredients whenever possible, but we also like ingredients that work on the skin that we consider to be safe. So we're clean in that sense, and I hope I answered that question.
Are there any new products on the market, like from Comfort Zone, that we need to know about?
Well, yeah, I mean, Kendra, do you want to talk about that at all, or would you prefer I do it?
No, go. You're doing great. I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt and take over, but yeah, no, feel free.
Well, we have a new ultra super clean, sustainable line that's coming in November. So it's a passion project. It's something that we will hold up as kind of an emblem of all, of our values and all that we do at Comfort Zone. So the new line that's going to launch is an organic certified line. We have the environmental working group has verified this formula as clean. That line will be launching in November. So, we are a clean brand, but we have a line that's going to be more than just clean. It's going to involve regenerative farming, and it's also carbon negative. So that's, again, it's kind of a new, I think we're the only ones that have done that, created a product with less, with taking carbon out of the atmosphere. So it's clean, it's environmental, it's effective, it's nourishing. So that's coming. That's called Sacred Nature. It'll come in November.
Nice. Is it different than skin regimen?
It's a little
more.
It's 100% plant-based. So where with the peptides and some of these other ingredients and things, that line will be 100% plant-based and organic.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, Roxana, I've really gone past the time. And I appreciate all of you all for staying with me, for being all together with all of us for so much longer than the prescribed time. Is there one more question, Roxana?
I don't see anything. I actually just shared with everyone on this webinar in the handout section of the chat where you can actually take a look into a brochure. So Christine, if you want to share a little bit more about that, feel free to do so.
Yes. So the skin regimen brochure, like a lot of our lifestyle guides, we like to introduce you to more of that deeper information about how, stress and, pollution and things like that affect the skin. So there's more lifestyle information in there. And then it gives you an introduction to the system and how it works. So, one of the great benefits of that brochure is that a lot of what I'm talking about today, you'll find that information in there as well.
You'll notice something, Anastasia. We actually, when we've done the master classes, I usually will hand those brochures out that Christine's referring to.
I still have it.
Yeah, those are a wonderful tool, and you can find a lot of useful information in there. Again, on all the science and theory and everything behind the system and the development of it. So, and future master classes to come for sure. I'm sure.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, of course, and we'll definitely keep you posted on when those are coming and any new product launches. Absolutely.
Perfect. Yeah, I can't wait. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's so great seeing you. So great seeing everyone.
Yeah. Well, actually, I've noticed Josephine is in Los Angeles, right? So she probably needs more products to help her skin feeling less, right?
A smoke protector.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it must be so intense there.
We have most of the windows closed most of the day. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Need more indoor plants, right? That'll help us with some of
Yeah, I
this.
have lots of plants and herbs. And, yeah.
Perfect. One last thing. We have picked a winner for the Glow Getter set, which contains our vitamin C, 15% vitamin C. And that is actually going to go to someone who registered under the name V. And the information about the products, the set that you just won will be coming to your email, your Gmail email. So it'll come there. So someone who registered as V, you just won the Glow Getter set, which has some great products, including a vitamin C serum.
Yay! Congratulations.
Okay, well, thank you all for being here today, and we look forward to other conversations, every Thursday at 4 o'clock. We'll see you back here, and thank you so much for joining and participating.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye. Have a good day.
Everyone stay safe and well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You as
Thank
well.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Hi. Thank you.